Have you ever stopped to consider how the smallest decisions, the tiniest actions, can ripple outward to change your life? Imagine a lone snowball at the top of a hill. It's small, almost insignificant. A gentle nudge sets it rolling, and at first it seems like nothing. But as it picks up speed, it grows, gathering snow, gaining momentum, and transforming into something massive and unstoppable. This is the snowball effect, a universal truth that shapes our lives in profound ways. It is the power of consistent effort and small, repeated actions that compound over time. This idea is not just a metaphor. It's a principle grounded in mathematics, science, and philosophy. And when you understand it deeply, it has the potential to transform everything. Your self-improvement journey, your career, your education, your relationships, and even your purpose. Mathematically, the snowball effect is the essence of compounding. The formula for compound interest teaches us how exponential growth works. Where AA is the final amount, PP is the principal, R is the rate of growth, and TT is time. At first glance, the changes seem almost negligible. A 1% improvement might seem trivial on the first day, but when that small effort compounds daily over a year, it results in a transformation 37 times greater than where you began. Think about that for a moment. 1% a day can make you 37 times better in just 1 year. Now let's take this beyond numbers and look at the science of how small efforts create unstoppable momentum. Newton's first law of motion states that an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an external force. This law applies to our actions, our habits, and our growth. The hardest part is always starting, pushing past the inertia, the resistance to change, the pull of staying comfortable. But once you take that first step, the momentum begins to build. The act of moving forward, no matter how small the initial effort, creates a rhythm that propels you further. Think about how water turns into steam. At 99 degrees Celsius, it's still just hot water. But with just one more degree, it undergoes a complete transformation into steam, unleashing a force powerful enough to drive engines and move mountains. That single degree represents the power of consistent effort. It's the accumulation of those tiny, often unnoticed actions that leads to the breakthroughs we crave. Even our brains reflect this principle. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, shows us how repetition creates lasting change. Every time you repeat an action or thought, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with it. At first it feels awkward or unnatural, like walking on a path overgrown with weeds. But as you continue, the path clears, becomes smoother, and eventually turns into a well-worn road. This is how habits are built, how skills are mastered, and how you become the person you aspire to be. But the snowball effect isn't just a matter of science. It's also deeply philosophical. Aristotle famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This means that greatness isn't a grand moment of achievement. It's the result of small, deliberate actions performed consistently over time. Every single day, with every choice you make, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. Are you voting for growth, discipline, and purpose? Or are you voting for stagnation, distraction, and regret? Nietzsche challenges us with the idea of eternal recurrence, the notion that every moment we live will repeat itself forever. If you knew that the small actions you take today would echo throughout eternity, how much more intentional would you be? The snowball effect forces us to see that nothing is insignificant. Every step matters, every choice counts, and every small action shapes the trajectory of our lives. Let's take this from theory into practice. Imagine your self-improvement journey. Most people aim for big, dramatic changes, but those are rarely sustainable. Instead, focus on micro-habits, small, manageable actions that are easy to do and impossible to ignore. Drink one more glass of water each day. Spend 5 minutes meditating. Read just one page of a book. At first, these actions might feel trivial, but over time, they compound into a healthier, sharper, and more focused you. In business, this principle is the foundation of long-term success. Consider customer relationships. A single thoughtful email, a small gesture of appreciation, or consistent engagement builds trust. Over time, this trust compounds, turning customers into loyal advocates and businesses into enduring brands. Even the greatest innovations don't appear fully formed. They're the result of countless small improvements, experiments, and iterations. In academics, the snowball effect is the secret weapon of mastery. A student who reviews their notes for just 15 minutes every day will always outperform someone who crams the night before an exam. Knowledge, like anything else, compounds. The more you learn, the more connections you form, and the easier it becomes to absorb even more. And what about relationships? It's easy to think that grand gestures are what strengthen bonds, but it's the small, consistent acts of kindness that truly matter. A smile, a word of encouragement, a moment of genuine listening. These are the things that deepen relationships over time. Just like a snowball, relationships grow with care, consistency, and intentionality. The snowball effect is everywhere, in your health, your career, your learning, and your connections. It's a universal truth that reminds us that the greatest transformations are not born from single, dramatic moments, but from the slow, steady accumulation of small, deliberate actions. And here's the most powerful part. You don't have to start big. In fact, you shouldn't. All you need is a single push, a single step forward. Even the tiniest action, when repeated over time, can create a ripple effect that transforms your entire life. So ask yourself, what snowball can you start rolling today? What small action, no matter how insignificant it seems, can you take right now that will grow into something extraordinary? This is the power of the snowball effect. It starts with a nudge, but if you stay consistent, it will grow. It will transform. It will become unstoppable. The question is, are you ready to take that first step?